All right, you ready to do this? I had it because I used to be a little stressed out and get this going. I feel like AJ Hawk, though, on McAfee show when he just sits there and chomps on the stogie the whole time. All right, so just a quick review. Last week, we'll hit on some winners, losers. Last week, I bought Drake May, Quinn Ewers, Jaden Daniels. Quinn Ewers was off. Drake May, stud, 4 touchdowns, beat Miami. Jaden Daniels, another 3-touchdown performance, convincing win over Auburn. I'm going to add a little bit more of those two because I think they're like gold. Right? They're just solid while there's a lot of volatility around the country, especially the quarterback play. You just know what you're going to get with those two. I think you can trust them. They're staples. While everybody else could come crumbling down, you just keep adding to those two. So I'm going to add to those two. The guys I was already holding. Now, this one was tricky because I had Michael Penix. Obviously, that's great. I'm holding him still, probably adding a little bit more of him too. Caleb Williams. That was the one that kind of got me. The cost him the Heisman Trophy against Notre Dame. Now, here's what I typically do like to do, especially if you're holding something. But this can get you in real big trouble. After a bad game, after the stock is down, you scoop some more up, right? You cost average on your way down, but you keep buying them. You know what? I am not doing that with Caleb Williams because that's what a lot of people thought. A little company called Lehman Brothers. Remember them? During the stock market crash, the Great Recession kept going down. People were like, oh, that looks like a great value at $3. Next thing you know, you're holding zero. Because I do think there is a very real possibility that you may not see Caleb Williams the last couple weeks of the season. Because what is the trend that we've heard? If they lose another game, they're essentially out from the Pac-12 conference race, the championship. You could see him shut it down. So I don't want you being like holding Lehman Brothers stock saying, when's this thing going back up? It could go all the way to zero as far as that goes. The other sells before, Brady Cook. Yeah, he was okay. Like they won. He was okay. I don't
he was not good. Like that,
right.
that was like 2022 Brady Cook.
Yeah. So you got that one. Bo Nix. So Bo Nix I sold because of Bo Nix on the road. Now he played good, but here's where the value play comes in. This is where you buy back Bo Nix. His Heisman odds before that game were plus 650. I saw one, they're 30-1 now for his Heisman odds. You better snatch that up right now if you want to buy some Bo Nix. You buy that dip on Bo Nix because here's the thing. I still think they could run the table and they could see a rematch of that game. And I know Michael Penix is minus 140 or whatever he is. That is way too rich a price to pay for him. I think now's the time to buy at some Bo Nix. You guys with me on that buy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
he played really good in
that.
Correct.
Just stop throwing at people's ankles and he'll be fine.
Yes. The other sell that I had that could not a good sell, Kyle McCord. I sold Kyle McCord. Probably, and I think it was Tom said you maybe wait a week because he was playing against Purdue. He had the stat game, 3 touchdowns without his backs. He looked really impressive. Now he's got to go against Penn State. I'll still just stay away from that one. I'm not buying or selling. I'll just stay away from Kyle McCord for now. All right. So I have the one Bo Nix buy. Okay. The other one I'm going to go ahead and buy up Carson Beck. So you guys talked about him a little bit earlier, and I know the tendency might be, well, Brock Bowers, how long is he out? I think that puts more attention and more opportunity on Carson Beck's hands. Like, I think that gives, and you mentioned some of the guys coming back that have been getting healthier. They've been getting Lovett played pretty well. McConkey's getting better. And Carson Beck is playing with a lot of confidence. Like, I think he would all of a sudden take over some of that hype and attention that Brock Bowers got. So I'm going to buy Carson Beck, get in early on that one. Because to me, Carson Beck is kind of like getting it on Netflix early when there might be some like people are questioning like, ooh, who's going to buy DVDs and have them mailed to your house? No, get in it early before they start streaming because that's what's come with Carson Beck's. And a lot of people, they were Blockbuster fans, right? Oh, I love going to look at my movies and feel them and look at the tape. So you know who I'm selling because I think it's kind of like Blockbuster, a little old school. I hate to do this. I'm selling my Max Johnson stock. Because I'm gonna, and if I don't have any, I'm just
already been delisted, Danny. I'm sorry, man. Like it's like on that life ball trajectory.
Yeah, you know one thing they say when you're trading is don't get emotional. I feel like I was emotionally attached to Max Johnson. My goodness, we talked about it going into that game. The internal clock that has to take place. You have to speed that up. I mean, you're supposed to use a stopwatch. It looks like he has a sundial when he's back in the pocket. And not only does it get him in trouble, it gets him hit way too much. He gets hit more than any quarterback out there because he hangs on the ball forever. So I am selling that stock. It's going to turn out like blockbuster. The other, so I got a penny stock for you, pink sheet, if you will. Caden Salter. Don't look now. Caden, Liberty's quarterback, they're undefeated. He is going to run the table. They're going to be undefeated. I don't think they get the New Year's Six, but I think it'll be a quarterback a lot of people are talking about. They're 6-0. He's got 20 total touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He keeps putting up big numbers. He's the perfect fit for Jamie Chadwell's system, and he is flourishing in it. The last sell that I have, so I gave you guys some homework. I don't know if you saw this yet or not, but I'm selling my Shedeur Sanders stock, and I'm selling it short. I don't care. I don't need it. I'm just selling it blindly. I'm selling it naked. I'm going to take on that risk because, and in the game he played really well. I mean, at 5 touchdown passes, he was still doing a lot of Shedeur Sanders things, but he had the very, very costly interception in overtime, which maybe if you knew the situation, what you needed, you wouldn't have tried to force it. You would have been happy taking a field goal, but he didn't. But Shedeur Sanders stock is very similar to a company called WeWork. I don't know if you guys are familiar with WeWork. You see their buildings around big cities around the country. There was a spectacular series starring Jared Leto called We Crashed. And basically Adam Newman was the CEO of this company. It's kind of like Dion, Coach Prime, who built up an entire company based on feel-good vibes. I kid you not, if you go watch it, he was basically selling, hey, everyone's going to feel good when they come to work, and we're going to create a culture, we're going to create an environment that everybody's going to believe in. And when it came time for the earnings reports, you know what they did? Because typically earnings reports are very financially backed with numbers and statistics, and you give them a lot of charts. They, instead of putting out numbers, used pictures in their earnings report, said, look how pretty our offices are. Look at these great communal workspaces. That, to me, is what they have at Colorado. It is about to come crashing down because I think there is a very good possibility they lose every game the rest of the season.
Oh, no. Come on.
I mean, so in this scenario, is Rick George Anne Hathaway?
Yes. The money. Did you see him? Yes. You saw him with his jacket where he opened it up and he had the collar popped and it said Coach Prime behind it. Very much Anne Hathaway. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're like right at we're right at the peak of the WeWork, like right there. You're just starting to see a little bit of the cracks in the foundation. Like, oh, wait, like 10% of them or 90% of them are unoccupied spaces. And they're like, oh, but it's good. We're selling them. Yeah. Could be some problems coming down the road.
Do you, Cameron always seems to find him during the broadcast. He's kind of always off to the side by himself. I don't know. So,
what, Rick George?
No, Shedeur.
No.
No, he was on the sideline talking to his receivers every time they showed him.
Just from the broadcast I've seen, I will say I watched. It's a reality TV show that happens to have a football team trying to be built, right? Like they're trying to accomplish 2 things at the same time. It's not just a reality TV show. It's not just a football team. The vibes in the latest video are a lot different. It's a whole lot of like coaches telling these kids, hey, like you don't love the game, you know, that type of thing. And, you know, why, like you constantly show up for meetings late. You don't watch the film. Maybe there's a reason most of these guys Colorado took were backups for their teams last year. Maybe they had poor practice habits and they've been unable to coach them out of it. Right. Like we asked, like, how would Colorado handle what we thought was going to come? And it didn't come early, right? They played really well against TCU. They played really well against the Nebraska team that now we realize is, okay, like worse than we thought, but still, like, it's a nice win for them. But, like, how are they handling, you know, this? I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, it's this is it. This is your crossroads. Like, this is, all right, what's going to happen with the rest of this season? You've got some extra time to put in some work. You need to find a victory against a team that you are not going to be a favorite against. That's the only way that you make it to the postseason with a 4-3 record right now. And look, Arizona's playing good football. There is not a single opponent that is.
I'm not going to pound the table because it might tip, but I want to say I am pounding the table that Arizona is a good football team.